Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to 7 billion humans. So I've spent several hours now off screen trying to get a few more of these optional challenges done. And the only one that I've even come close really to solving is this one, which I accomplished simply by adding a bunch of in commands and removing every single bit of calculation. So you're supposed to write each one of these as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in order. And what I've effectively done is broken up a very long code, I believe it's 68 lines of code, into 5, 10 individual programs that are effectively almost exactly the same, but they're just slight iterances. So it looks for this character and it writes 1, and for that character it looks for this character, it writes 10, then it looks for this character and writes 2, this one writes 9, and so on and so on. Um, that's there's literally, with the exception of the if statements, no flow control in here, no actual calculations, no actual math. It really goes to show how both this game has failed to explain its speed and seconds metric. It's not real world seconds, obviously, but it has also failed to in any way explain how much a calculation command is versus an if command versus a step command versus anything else. So, like, I've spent hours every time I try to think about double-sided destruction. I can't think of anything, and it just kind of irritates me. Same is fairly true for cubicle communication. I had this code working for a brief second, but it was getting the wrong number, so it wasn't quite working. But it, with certain lines of code, was starting here, going up and snaking up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, counting all the numbers, and then when it hit a wall over here, it went back and wrote it. The problem, one of the major problems with this game, other than that the language just kind of sucks, and it would have been very interesting to see if this sequel to Human Resources Machine simply introduced a new and improved version 2.0 of their code instead of just giving more puzzles. But the interface is a major issue here. There needs to be, ideally, some way to zoom this in or turn it into multiple columns, even at what is a ridiculously small number of lines of 39 for a regular program. You can see it's like major scrolling. You can only get about 18 lines of code, apparently, on screen. And since this is probably first and foremost a computer game, you would think you'd be able to change the resolution in some way and make that work more. The good news is we can skip this, and we may very well, because the only other thing we can really do is this puzzle, 100 cubes on the floor. That too I have worked really hard on, and yet it still does not move fast enough. And so the game is just now frustrating me, on top of making me do a ton of homework, a ton of extra work off screen, while we still are having like 2 hour episodes, because even when we are playing, it's taking forever. But let's do this one. It's getting too crowded in here. I'm sure the data agrees. A good neighbor is a distant neighbor. Rearrange the data cubes however you like, as long as no data cube has more than 3 neighbors. So I started to work on this, but didn't get too far. Now, because each of these characters is in a different direction, the only way I could get these to all walk towards the center would be to have them walk to the nearest wall, find out if they're touching a wall on the left, the right, below them, or above them, and then give them a specific value to do that, to then walk in that direction. So instead, what I'm going to try and do is I'm gonna try and just have them walk to the nearest data cube and just have this go forever in a loop and hope that it eventually runs into a solution. It probably would be just easier to have everybody walk to the right. Actually, let's see. Do we have enough space here where we could do this? It says 3 neighbors. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not gonna work. Let's see, if this doesn't equal nothing, I'm going to try to do something fairly sloppy here. Step, and then what we're going to do is just have it step in a random direction, and then drop, and no testing whatsoever to see if it can be dropped. And what we can do at that point is say, if my item is not equal to nothing, loop back into the step and drop, and then loop back all the way. Back to this point. Yeah, this is gonna be crazy. If this actually works, this would be just a random coincidence of success. See how this works. Start, walk in random directions, and pick up the blocks if there's a block next to it. Which probably there are enough blocks so that would always be the case. And I don't know if the game is actually testing to see if there are cubes now that are in places, or if this is just a case of some character always having a cube in their hands, thus no matter how fast this goes, it'll never be in a scenario. It does seem like I mostly did fix the problem. I just need a slightly faster bit of code, slightly more intelligent bit of code. Let's see if mem3 equals mem3 plus 1, and then what we need to do is add an if command here, add this command here, add this command here, add this command there, add this command here, and do that. And then we need to just test to see if mem3 is less than or equal to 3. And let's see if that works. Tons of calculations, but this might very well get me the optional, well, why are they not picking up more? Probably because mem3 is not. Let's see, how many codes? 10 or 10 or less commands. So you can see we're already at that point, where it's less than reasonable on first glance, because I need a set here. So let's see. Set this back to 0. But how do I get rid of a couple more lines of code? I could get rid of one step for sure. In fact, this step probably doesn't need to exist at all. And this would work better if I had set it to mem3. And then they're picking up things if it is less than more, less than that, when it should be pick it up if it's greater than that. And then step drop. If you can't drop it, try again, but let's see, how can we put these in the right order? Probably don't need this bit of code at all. So mem2. For each mem2, step drop here. So they step, they drop, they don't pick up. They should be at some point picking up. If mem3 is greater than or equal to, these should be mem3s. See, mem3 equals mem3 plus 1. So we have mem3 being 0. If, I guess, if it equals a data cube might be a better way to test. Then we have a lot of errors. A lot of errors. Interesting, you can have a data cube and a worker in the same memory spot. That's not very computer-like to have the 2 bits of memory in the same position. So you calculate mem3. Still does not seem like it ever calculates, though. If mem2 equals a data cube, then mem3 probably need to put this code here and this. So lots of errors here, but I think this will kind of work. Are they picking up the cubes or are they just putting them down? I'm seeing holes, but I'm not sure where the holes are, where things are going. It's just gonna take a while to get to this center section. And would it make sense to put an end command here, or do we need the guys to keep on moving? Because I could put an end scenario into this, certainly, but I don't see the real value in that, other than to make the code run faster. Clearly you can see that this code is very random and very inefficient. But it worked with 9 commands. It just managed to take, well, looks like we're going to be somewhere around 860 seconds on average instead of the 171 that they wanted you to do. Alright, well, let's see what the optional challenge on this was. Somebody's done it in 5 commands, and I bet you could do that in 5 commands. It would just take forever. Get rid of the calculation completely and just have it pick up something, drop something, step in random directions. Just let it go on, run overnight. You could probably do this fairly easily in 5 commands. Yeah. This one, this one, this one, and that one. See, you can do it in 4 commands even, if you wanted to. So there's even a global better solution than that. Unless there is some kind of trick that I'm not aware of where you cannot at all, like, you can't let your programs run forever. Walk to the nearest data cube is the first thing you would want to do to make this more efficient. Just have everybody stand near a data cube. Then what you would want to do is say for each of those, calculate mem3 to equal mem3 plus 1, like we did before. And I probably could have just copied the code. M2 equals a data cube, is that right? Yeah, if it equals a data cube, add it up, and then if mem3 is greater than 3, walk to the nearest nothing, I guess. To the nearest wall. Okay. Walk to the nearest wall, and then if there's a wall in this direction, step up, or a wall in this direction, step up. Otherwise, if there's well, I don't know if I can actually do this. Because what I'd like to say is, if there's a wall this direction, or a wall in this direction, and a wall in this direction, because I can't just look for a diagonal wall. I need to actually be looking for a left and a down wall and a right and a down wall. Step up. So this should be this and this is true, or this and this is true, and or and theoretically. Then we need the exact same code for the top. And once we get to the walls, we'll make a checkerboard pattern, and then we'll just use that checkerboard pattern to see if we can copy the way it looks so we don't add extra confusion. Let's see. Or at least copy as much as possible. And that will be step down. So that figures for those corners. And then what can we do? Is there a more efficient way to do this? Like, if we specifically sought out this one, would there at any point... Yeah. See, if we brought this up to 8, and then simply picked up this, found the nearest wall, walked to the nearest wall, and then drop it. Set that as mem4. Maybe we don't need this code, and so we'll use the jump command to just jump outside of that code as a way of not deleting things. Okay. At that point, if it's an else statement, we do probably need to run back this way and then see if that makes it slightly more efficient. Because there's no real way to know there's no real way to know that we are where we could find one bloom flower, data flower is what they were calling them, just donut holes. And clearly we're going to need a jump back to this point, and we're going to need to set mim3 to 0. See if this works. Greater than 8 will never work, won't it? I'd have to make it greater than 7. That kind of has worked. But I'm waiting for somebody to land on this square and run the calculation. Now I'm waiting for someone. I don't think 7 is the right number. It's the right number if and only if you get this exact pattern. And see that pattern doesn't actually work. And I don't think I'm really making much more of an efficiency argument in this line of code. I don't think that speeds the process up any. I could certainly line everything up into the wall and then have a concentric circle solution, making just a ring of things. Each one of these numbers seems to be a relatively small number. I'm seeing maybe an 8, and that's it. So I kind of wonder if some of these numbers weren't telling you at the beginning how many blocks they were touching in the first place. And I could have just said, go find all of the cubes that have the number 8 on it, or a number bigger than 3 on it. Yeah, they're just kind of stuck in an infinite loop at this point. Okay. If I found a corner here and then went up to this point and took that out, and then I took that one out, and then I took that one out, and then I took that one out, that might work. I don't know how this is going to be an efficient line of code though if I literally tell everybody else to just not do anything, because that almost certainly never works as a solution. Let's try it though. We're gonna have everybody step up one, or you know what we'll do as an even easier thing. We'll say if directly below you equals a worker. That eliminates everybody but this guy. You do code. Otherwise, you end. So that just gets rid of everybody whatsoever. And then I can just have him step once, step, then this direction, and then have him pick up and, well, actually, why not just pick up this direction and then step that direction and drop. Then for the next one, we need him to go back this direction and let's see, do we want to go up? Probably would be just easier. So then step up one, step up two, and at that point I think you pick up that one and step to the right and drop. Let's play that and see how far that gets us. Not quite where we want to be. We need another step this way, which I think probably means we also want another step in like that direction. Yep, not quite where we want it to be. Next time needs one more step up this way. Pick up that. Still needs another step in that direction. And then play. Step there. Okay. So that should have him at that point. So we should be able to just go up one and then up two. This is just stupid. It really is. And then pick up that one and then go ahead and just step up a couple of places and drop it. Let's see how that does. Probably am adding another extra step here, which probably won't affect much, but it is silly nonetheless. All we're really trying to do here is just get rid of these boxes. So now what we want to do, since that has us in there, is go this direction, go this direction. We'll probably try to go in just like concentric circles, just for no real good reason, but other than it just keeps momentum going forward. And keeping momentum going forward is probably a smart move. If anything, there might even be a solution. Like if I took this, for instance, and walked this way, it would be fewer steps. But I don't even know how much I really want to optimize this. And see, the problem with this is this may solve it, or this may still count as taking way too many steps in general. See, the only real way you would do this is you would label things, which we haven't been using the labels at all. Let's go this direction and then go that direction. That way we can then remove, I think, that much code. Yeah, and in this case, I don't know if there's... Here, we'll just put a number 2 here. And interesting that it changes that. We're going to have to actually use some labels for this to work. See, actually in this case, I don't know if I really do need to step up to. I think it might just be easier to do that. And then I'm labeling the sections above me, not the sections below me, which is not a great way to label things. If I add that direction, and I add that direction, I may very well not need this. Pick that up, go that way. See, where did that end up? I'll have to watch it again. I feel like I could probably just step up at that point diagonally, and then step up here diagonally, and then let's see if that changes things. Yeah, put that there. Pick that up. Put that down. Yeah. That one steps up twice as much as it needs to. And then I wish there was a way you could get rid of the errors after the fact, because they really don't need to exist. Let's keep going though. Let's make a bit of an assumption that we have done everything right, which would mean we need to, at this point, step this way down and see that, and then that one, and then that one. So I think it's a step downward and a step right to then pick up a cube and step upward one and then drop it, and then that's not a 5. That's an S, but close enough to a 5. So then we need to, at that point, step down one, step to the right one, go ahead and pick one up, and actually I don't know why I need to step to the right one, but whatever. Step upward and then drop. Let's see how that works. That goes there. That goes there. This one goes up. That works. So that these codes are working. The main issue is I'd like to be able to remove this code, which means I'd like to be able to remove this code and instead pick this up and instead step that direction, I think. Not quite there, but close enough. So at this point, we just have this one, this one, this one, and this one left to do. And I think that's fairly efficient code that we've run into. And I don't believe there's any cube here that is touching more than 3. Oh, yes, there is. This whole thing is a failure, isn't it? It would make sense if I put this here and this here. But right now, this is touching 6. So is there a dividing line we could do? Is it all the cubes with number 8? No. All the cubes do seem like they kind of are oddly numbered. There does seem like there is a system here. So you can keep the 5s. You know the 3s are the corners. But the 8s are going to be the problems. If these weren't all 5s and these were individual numbers, then that would be a lot more efficient. And this is just going to become a nightmare scenario. Otherwise, like, I need to go and pick this one out and this one out also. And then I would need to potentially take out a bunch of central boxes. So that's not a way to do this. Just hand coding it. Should have probably copied that. So the nearest cube, if you pick it up, if your item is not equal to not equal to 8, then walk in a random direction. See. If the thing you're standing on is not equal to 8, walk in a random direction. Keep doing that forever. Find the nearest data cube. Elsewise, pick it up and then find the nearest wall and let's see, walk to that nearest wall and then if what you're standing on equals nothing, drop it. Elsewise, let's see if we can do this a little bit more efficiently. If this is not equal to nothing, step in a random direction. See if that works. Find the 8s. Pull out the 8s. Find the walls. Does seem like there's a lot of people that are going around in circles, randomly walking when they should be finding the nearest data cube. And I think that's probably because I didn't bother to put a step command there. So that should stop people from being busybodies. And that is considerably less code being executed. That should be faster than a standard randomized process. But we are running into a slight problem where we need a bit more assistance, as it were, to have these cubes placed elsewhere. Let's see. One, I think you do jump back to the beginning of the code and you keep on trying for efficiency's sake. And then if above you is a data cube, then step up 2. And if below you is a data cube, let's say step right 2. That might work. It might not. Might make a nice little spiral, and it might just waste everybody's time. Because everybody's going to hit these walls. This would work better if I had done that code right. If to the right of you is a data cube, step couple rider. Okay. And we'll see if this works better. Step down. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like they're following the right kind of logic. Is there a different way to have these guys step? Step to the nearest 3, maybe. But I don't see the point in that either. What I could do is have everybody move in kind of a diagonal pattern. That way you do have this possibility of going one direction or another direction. Just zigzag it. See what that does. Maybe the jump command's not really needed. Hmm. See, that feels like that code would possibly work. Hmm. And the only other part of this I think we would need is just to either get really lucky on the randomization parts or have them, when they're standing on a 5, always go in one direction versus another direction. Because there's really only a couple of things here. And that's kind of wrong. If to the right of you is a data cube, then you probably wouldn't ever be able to go that way. And if below you is a data cube, do we randomly walk in diagonals and get rid of those as options? Does that make it a more efficient process? Maybe it does. This may just be a chessboard problem. I kind of have it. Like, what here touches more than 3 things? This guy? This guy? No. Like, we are done. This works. It's not super efficient. Why did that fail? What is touching more than 3 things? This one right here. Let's see. Else. For each all around you. Interesting. Could we use this code way better than I have been using it? I probably could. I could say if there's a 3, for each one around you that's an 8, walk to that 8 and pick it up and then put it somewhere. But we're getting kind of stuck in my standard ways of thinking that we've been taught, so I kind of don't want to bother with something like that. It's greater than 3, and then pick that up. And it might just be easier to say if this is less than or equal to 3, simply jump at that point back to this direction here. There's a lot more logic there. That definitely took less time. So what went wrong? This one's wrong. And I think that might be solvable with just another loop all the way around, because we created more problems. While also running into the problem of not setting mem3 back to 0. So what's going wrong here? This code probably is not doing anything. We could undo the randomization here and see if that changes anything. This jump takes you all the way back. Why is this still running into problems? Probably because of this, in part. They kind of pick it up and then they kind of get stuck here. Let's just go. Feels like we probably just need the exact same code twice. Interesting. mem3 equals mem3 plus 1. And then if mem3 is less than or equal to 3, then set it back to 0 and drop elsewise. Let's see. Elsewise, set this back to 0 and step in a random direction. Which I still think the diagonals are a smart idea. It probably still has some problems with it. See, like mem3 here is 24. Why is m3 24? It shouldn't be at that point. this one probably should be closer to this. They run the calculation. Get rid of this jump. Don't seem like they're picking up the cube anymore. Probably should just be easier to pick up what you're standing on. Yeah. If mem3 is greater than this step in a random direction, actually that should still be less than or equal to. And then the part where you get to a wall and you start to look around again fails because of some ridiculous bit of code. And really, each one of these characters only needs to execute once. They don't need to get an infinite loop. So, if M3 is less than or equal to 3, drop. Elsewise step. And regardless, set it to 0 and try again. If mem3 is less than 3, why is nobody dropping anything? They should be dropping something. Because I've forgot the if statement on both of these. Interesting. If mem2 equals a data cube, mem3 adds up. And over here, if mem2 equals a data cube, it adds up. So it's just like an entire line of code that is missing. Then they drop. And then they probably, at the drop, should just end. Let's see. So we don't want it to end. We want it to keep drying. So we probably then want to just get rid of that else statement. Just have them walk after they drop anyways. See, the problem with this language is that you can walk to the nearest data cube, yes, but if there's a data cube anywhere near you, that's just where you're going to go. You can't go to a nearest data cube that equals 5, for instance, without also running lots and lots of code around that. And see, this is supposed to be the non-random, speed-efficient version of this code, and it's still fully falling in under the category of being extremely random. And I bet I shouldn't have them walk diagonally, because that does potentially mean that they will just not run into some of the cubes. So we've got one cube here that's still touching too many. And I think that's pretty it. Except for this one. This one also is touching too many. Is less than or equal to 3. But this one has more than 3. So like, yeah, and you really can't follow any of this. This is ridiculous. It seems like there's some glitch in the code that is making it miscalculate. And I guess I could probably just change this to less than, and change this to less than, and we could probably get it to work that way, maybe. See, this one's still touching 4 cubes. And I seem to have introduced a lot of errors. This is an 8, so that's not a problem. Mem3 equals mem3 plus 1 if it is set to, if it is less than that, then set mem0 and step around. If it's set less than that, then honestly, wouldn't this be the same? Like, isn't this really just the exact same code? So shouldn't this code and this code be there? Apparently not. So perhaps this statement here like this picks it up. This puts you back at the beginning, probably in a place you don't need to be. Let's see. If that is that, step, set that, and then drop that. And we'll just have to have some redundant code here, just for ease of coding's sake. There is some way to order this, but I don't know exactly how. And if that is that, probably need the same thing over here, just more redundant code? Well, we got it. We got it to work, but in the opposite direction. Set that, do that. If this is greater than 3, step around. Elsewise, drop it. Why is it not working? Let's say 2. No, even 2 would be too small. Let's say 1. Why are there some people that are not holding a cube? Because those cubes have gotten... They need to be dropped along the wall, and they need to be dropped along the wall in a much more logical pattern than what I'm doing. Finding the cube is right. Walking to the nearest wall is right. It's just at this point, you probably don't need a for each or function. You probably just need to say if there's a cube below you, step up 1 and just check again. Although we probably should change it to not equals nothing. And then you should probably also say if there's, since everybody's going to be stepping up, if there's a cube to the left of you, step to the right. I don't know if this is going to be good enough code. And then drop and just end. So that we're not going to be doing the rest of that code. We'll see how that plays. This one and this one would still be wrong. What can we do to ensure that these guys don't end up finding cubes that other people have found? If mem3 is less than 3, or you are anywhere near a worker, that doesn't make sense. I don't think that would work. There might be a move to this, though. There very well might be a move. If you're standing on is not an 8, forget it. And then if you are standing on an 8, look to see if there is a worker to the up, down, left, and right of you. And if there happens to be a worker up, down, left, and right of you, we will then have you walk in a random diagonal direction. And we'll see if that works. Let's see. Probably need that code to run somewhere about there. We may actually get this if we just look out. Like, we've got one more bit of code. We've got one guy just trying to walk into a place he can't walk. So if this infinite jump here just takes forever, until she lands on an 8. There you go. So then it's just this guy who's in this infinite loop. And where is he? He's ended. Well then, is it this guy that's in an infinite loop? Yeah, he is. If below you is not nothing, step up. Below him is not nothing. Alright, step up. Or step to the right. There we go. And the ridiculousness here will be that this probably will still not work for some reason. Yeah. Or this will still be way too slow. Like, there still obviously is a lack of logic in this. This does feel like a code that would work. Feel like what I probably just didn't do is put all the if statements that needed to happen, which is to say, if there's something to the right of you, step left. Let's see. You know, this probably could be just done a little bit easier too, by one long command in the 4 cardinal directions. And then have them step in a diagonal direction instead. Hmm. Well, if these guys... If this guy was holding a cube, that'd be a problem. Why these two stopped, I don't know. I don't think that's the solution. But everything else is fairly spread out. But I can't help but once again say this game is just getting rather frustrating. This is not really where you would want it to go with this. You'd want it to be more logical. You'd want it to potentially make sense and have had something built along this concept before. I'm gonna just change this to say if my item is a data cube and all these other things are true. That way that should get rid of the one guy that was wandering around without a data cube. We should probably limit this a little bit more. Not to nothing, but instead to a data cube, because we don't really care about workers. Well, that didn't work. This does feel like if I just let this run, I would get this to work, but definitely it's not going to be an efficient solution. So we really haven't made any progress at all to any of that. So that's good, neighbors. Let's try to do some of these other puzzles. I mean, we've got just a little bit, and then we're going to end up doing just 1 or 2 puzzles per episode at this rate. Glory Hole, Year 59. That's a slightly risque title. Here we have ... I don't even know anymore ... I just have a note here that says, looking for something. Seek out the glory hole and dive in. One of these holes in this room is your goal. Each data cube on the floor indicates the distance measured in tiles away from the special hole. Seek out that hole and dive in. So this is the right hole. So find the nearest data cube. Step to mem1 is the first part of this. Let's see. Then for each in mem2, if mem2 is less than or equal to mem1, then go ahead and just step back to mem1. And then if we need a special statement, if mem1 equals the number 1, and if we're gonna have to get to the corners here. Well, actually no, we could just say mem1 at that point is the nearest hole and have them step to the nearest hole. Is that really the solution? Not quite. If mem2 is less than mem1, then mem1 should probably become mem2. That would make some sense there. If this 9 let's get rid of the equal sign and see if that causes any problems. Nine lines of code. I don't know what this is supposed to be. It kind of looks like a Pokemon or something. But they want it in 7 lines of code, and we got the speed done on the first try. So how could we get rid of some code? We could get it down that way, certainly. And then mem1 is the nearest data cube. And then step to mem1. What if we didn't have that line of code in it? They don't know where to go. And they just exit out. That's kind of what I thought we would do. Or mem2 equals a whole. Maybe that solves that. Nope. Not quite. And mem1 equals 1. Let's see. If mem2 is less than mem1, set mem2 to that. Or if mem2 is a whole and mem1 equals 1, set that. See, there's no parentheses in this. But I guess it doesn't really matter. So you're just gonna have to write this backwards. If mem2 is greater than mem1, you can get rid of that part. So if mem2 is greater than mem1, this should do something. So if it's not greater, thus lesser than this, jump. Then one more jump. And then what we need to do is or and mem2 is not a whole and mem1 is not equal to 1. If that actually works, I'll be very surprised. Doesn't seem like it's working. See, this mem1 is 3. It's looking around. If none of those are true, probably don't want to step so much as I just want to loop. These are all looking for bigger numbers when they should be looking for smaller numbers. Let's see if that works. Maybe it's an OR statement. Maybe it's 2 OR statements. And if mem2 is greater than mem1 and or mem2 equals a whole, or and mem1 equals 1. See, this one equals 1. What if we just lost all of that? Well, then we screw up big time. It seems fairly crazy, this whole system. Like, it doesn't seem like you need all of this. This confusion around all of it. Frankly, it's just extra. Let's see. Like, this is the solution, this is 7 bits of code, but then it gets to the ones, and I'd have to figure out a way to add an OR here where it shouldn't, because these guys will just jump in the hole as soon as they walk by any other hole. So, or it's a hole and mem1 equals 1 should work, but it's just such a weird system that it doesn't work. These Boolean challenges. And I just don't have enough room for both of these jump codes otherwise. So maybe the statement is something more along the lines of getting rid of one of these jump codes. See, this one won't jump to mem1. Maybe this one isn't necessary. Let's see. This was working code before I made that one change. And it does seem like it's still fairly working code. So maybe... But you can't just add an if command, can you? Like, one if command would then also need a set command, which then brings us back up to 8. And we would be looking for 7 commands. If this is greater than this, else that. Let's hit play there and see if that greater than or equal to, maybe. Or if mem2 equals a whole and this. Maybe if you could drag and drop the tests, that would also help this quite a bit. Because this might really be more of a just problem with the ordering. So if I said if memory 1 equaled 1 and mem2 equals a whole, or if mem2 is lesser than mem1, set it. Some of them are going to the right place, just not all of them. And I could probably put one more jump here and see if maybe that solves it, but I've lost the plot mentally. Let's see. Or and yeah, totally lost the plot. I cannot imagine a way to do that quickly and easily. See what this one is. This is probably going to be extremely challenging. Hey, this looks familiar. We had a similar assignment together a long time ago, but back then there was one worker for every data cube. This time we're running a little low on workers. We should have been more careful with our human labor over the years. It will be more difficult, but I'm sure you can figure out how to sort this line. Smallest to the left, biggest to the right. You know the drill by now. Well, now that we have the for each command, that might help us a little bit, but I don't know how much it really would. And we also have the listen and tell command, which might help us a little bit. We're gonna have to pick up the thing that we're standing on, and then we're gonna have to say for each direction around us, if that cube is less than what? Let's see. If memory 1 is less than the thing to the left of us, then step to the left of us. Didn't tell the person standing next to us to step to the left of us. Oh man. Yeah, I think that's the trick here, is that you're gonna have these guys pick up things, and then either you're going to have them act very inefficiently and start with these two and then work their way down, which will only sort things a little bit, or let's see, or you're gonna struggle in some other way. Let's see. Step to the left. Yeah, honestly, I don't even want to try this. I'm so burnt out. There's just been so many extra seconds that have happened here where that it's just not satisfactory. If my direction to the right is, if I'm not standing on nothing, or I could write code that would probably ignore these edges, and then I'd probably have to add some extra bits of code because of that. But yeah, this is gonna kind of suck. And then when we get down to this point where we drop it, we probably need a jump where we are back to this point. See how far that gets us. And then let's just have everybody take a step to the right. And the reason I pick right is because this is 4 steps where this is only 2 steps. So this is a 75, that's a 75. We may be a little bit backwards in our sorting. We may not be actually sorting anything. Step to the left. If this way is a wall, let's go ahead and step to the right. And just keep going to the right until we find a nothing. And then try that loop. And we would probably need to clone that code so it goes the other direction. So I'll go ahead and step to the left until you find a hole. Yeah, these bits of code here probably need to be higher up. Yeah. So could I put that code in easily? If to the left of you is a wall, see. Yeah, or to the right of you equals a wall, or to the left of you equals a wall. That probably eliminates any need for that code. So we've got a level of sorting, but not any level that's actually working. So I could put some extra hours into that, certainly, and probably get that done. Whereas, like, the mode code also could take some extra hours into it, but I'm not sure I really want to do that. I feel like we're going to end up getting to this final part, and we'll be lucky if we even get to this final part without having to cheat, and then we'll just skip, like, the ones we can't do to see the other ones. So, here we have lazy pathways. Have you seen my legs? I haven't either. They're pretty short, so I don't like to walk any further than I need to. I would like to know how far I would need to walk to reach every point in the room. Every tile surrounding me is 1 tile away. Okay, so apparently he is 2 tiles or 4 2x2 tiles big. Then 2. I filled out a few distances already, as you can see. You're welcome. Please go and change all those 99s to display the minimum numbers of tiles I have to walk to get to that position. I'll be here. Okay. So I can step to the left to start with. Easy enough. And then I can say, if what I'm standing on equals 99, then we'll start some code. And there is a bit of code all the way around here, enough to solve the rest of this. Although we will need to add some extra code, I think, at some point. For each thing around you, we'll put that in memory 1. And then if memory 1 is not equal to well, this is going to be complicated, isn't it? If memory 1 is not equal to 99, then or memory 2 I kind of hate the fact that you have to have a command to set memory 2 before you can even pick memory 2. It feels like the game is trying to make that easier on you, but that really doesn't help much. So if memory 1 is not equal to 99, or memory 2 is greater than memory 1, which might mean we need to establish memory 2 is 99 to start with. Then set that to that. Then after for each command, pick up the thing, calculate memory 2 to be memory 2 plus 1. Which isn't always going to be, it's going to be the case for the smallest number, yes. Pick it up, write it, drop it, and then step back. This isn't going to work at all. I really need the listen and tell commands, and since I don't have that, I would have to figure out a way to make these guys just loop forever. Yeah, some of this is kind of working, but a lot of this isn't. And then they're gonna have to find a way to walk in different directions, because you're not gonna be able to get this section or this section done well either. Oh man, this is a lot of work. And then when you get over to this point, the smallest number around you would still be right. See. Seems like what you probably have to do is step to memory 1. None of that is right. So there's little bits of this code where the math is wrong. There's little bits of this code where the flow control is going to be wrong. You're going to have to work really, really hard to get these to walk in the direction you want. You could practically tell them, don't even bother to walk to the left unless it is below 99. And then you could try to potentially draw an outline by just random steps. And going back to where you were. That's, I guess, what you could do. is start by having a for each that just tells you don't go that way, go a different way. And see, what else can we even do? Let's just be honest here. Off screen, I'm gonna have to work on lazy pathways because that's gonna take a lot of work, and I'm not gonna have a lot to say for a while. And then understaffed sorting, maybe I'll work on it. Am I gonna do mode code? No, not really. So I think it's probably time to cheat. And see, the funny thing here is, even in cheating, it's probably smarter to not do what I'm about to do and use the internal cheat system when I could just go online and get the answers as anyone else could. And that definitely opens up a possibility for some people. Skipping is an excellent way to progress through challenging assignments. You now have a total of, you can have a total of 5 assignments skipped at any one time. After skipping this important assignment, you will have 4 skips remaining. Don't worry, you can always come back and complete this skipped assignment for later, and you'll get your skip back to use on another assignment. I don't see a point in limiting the number of skips, and it definitely goes to show that there is this really high chance of kids, particularly people who don't know programming, getting this game and just cheating their way through it for the achievements and then kind of not doing anything else with it, and being very dissatisfied. And you're not even very satisfied when you do solve the puzzle. So, and that's coming from somebody who knows how to program. I imagine a lot of people are going to be very, very unhappy with this game. Way more than even the first game. The first game I feel like was more educational, more linear in the thought patterns and the things it was teaching. More doable by far. Let's see. Let's all imagine you have a sandbox and you carefully build some tall sand castles and you dig some deep holes. Then the older kids come along and shake the whole sandbox like an earthquake, and you're left with a perfectly flat plane of sand. Well, that's what we need you to do with this data. Calculate the average of all the cubes in the room and write that value to all cubes. Okay, well, you could start certainly with just a simple, if you're not standing on a data cube, step up statement. That can get you to the beginning of that. And then what you can tell, I don't know where the listener tell part of this would help at all. You can then calculate mem1 to be equal to mem1 plus this, and you can do that as long as above you is not nothing, and when it is nothing, go ahead and just pick up and write what mem1's value is, and then we will have this guy on the furthest one. Let's see. Go into a loop. While everybody else just waits for listen. Which we could probably do easier that way. Just have everyone listen. And then what he's going to do is he's going to set, well, he could probably just calculate his mem1 to equal mem1 plus the value of the thing to the left of him, and he can step to the left of him, and he'll keep on doing that until this is not nothing. And that should give him the full number. And then all we need to do, all we need to do after that point is just see how many boxes we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 49. Okay. So we just take mem1 and we just divide it by 49. And that should be our number. And then we pick up what we're standing on and we write the number, and then we drop it, and then what we do is we step to the right, and we'll go ahead and do that. Let's see if to the left of us again is not nothing. We will keep on stepping. And this if command is wrong, because it needs to step to the right and then pick up things and do that, which means I probably need to be, like, for the first code, a little bit to the right, which that's a weird way to fix it. Once we're done with that code, then we just tell everybody hi, and at this point everybody picks up what they're standing on, or they don't even need to pick it up. They set what they're standing on to be their new memory 1, and then they step down and they pick it up, and then they write it, and then they drop it, and we don't really even, I think, need any more code than that. So let's see if this works. So this will be probably my only attempt here. It's just going to add up all these columns and then write the sums of the columns at this top row. And let's see. Let's see, we need a step up here. And could probably have another one here. And then just to not even try to bother to fix the coding, I'll just have it step down one once it gets there. So just like a pointless walk down and walk up. There are programmers definitely that are just in charge of optimizing code, and then there are concept programmers also. So it's not completely unheard of, in my mind, that you would potentially write code rough and dirty that that gets the job done, and then hand that code to a lower level employee or just a specialist, even if they're not a lower level employee, to optimize the code and make it more readable. Although it's typically fairly hard to make someone else's code more readable. There's a little bit you can do there. Okay, so now she's trying to step to the right, and she can't do it because they're all listening. So let's instead have them just step upward so they're out of the way, and then listen. Like, I'm writing some pretty garbage code here. Okay. 51 divided by 49 equals 3. Is that even what we're trying to do? I guess. And the code works seemingly up until that point. And I'll probably just write another extra bit of command to have this one stand forward. Yeah. So, for it tells everyone, hi. This one needs to take a step up, so they're all at the same place. And then I could probably just write that like that, and let's see if that works. And it won't let me do anything more if we're standing on nothing. We'll just put an in command in there. And that's like 37 lines of commands. Clearly there's more optimization you could do in something like this. And I got the wrong number. So what did I do wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means there are 49 numbers. And maybe I've forgotten how they average here. Let's see. Mem1 should be the sum of all those numbers. But maybe I'm getting it wrong because I'm having it read the value of the cube to the left of me. Let's see. Like this one has an 8. 6, 7, 8 plus 3 is 11. Plus 0 is still 11. Plus 6 should make it 17. Okay. So now this should be 20 plus 9. Wait. And 22. How'd it get to 40 already? Yeah. So at this point, I think I need to set mem1 to 0. Let's see if that fixes that. You guys really did really average. That's a pretty good compliment. My parents always said I was average. So I did that in 38 lines of code, and it failed in a lot of different instances. Probably because of a lack of rounding up, or like, let's see what happens quickly, just to see what went wrong. Because it would have to just be the numbers. That's really the only thing that could have been wrong in this code, is that it would have just gotten the average incorrect. See, 14 plus 14 plus 18 should be 32, plus 16 should be 48, plus 17 should be 55, 65. 65 plus 22 should be 87. What? No, that was 20. Should be 107 now. And then 107 goes over apparently a number. Or it didn't get that 21 added. 107 plus 21. Interesting. So I could probably just change that to a wall, and that probably would solve the puzzle. And yet somehow that still didn't work. Okay, well, that would take some more work, but at least we accomplished it. But we also have this flashing point where it doesn't count because we didn't get it to work in more than 50% of the code. So yeah, that kind of sucks. So we've got one puzzle here, and two puzzles here that need to be finished in any form more than 50% of the time. Then we have a puzzle here, here, and here, and here and here that all have either command or speed challenges. And ideally, and very possibly, the only thing I'm going to do is play this level and try to get this legitimately. But we have enough skips, because if I was to skip this one and then skip this one, I then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 puzzles. If I can't, in the remaining 6 puzzles, do at least 4 of them, then I don't really deserve to get to the final cutscene, which I imagine that is just a gameplay game over cutscene, regardless of whether you've done all the puzzles or not. And certainly at a certain point I will just decide to look up all the answers. I think we will probably definitely have that happen in the last episode, at least for all the things that I haven't figured out myself. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.